David Rosenfelt writes a new book about as often as the seasons change. To date, he has turned out 32 books, including The K-Team, which was released just last month. Books 33 and 34 are in the works.
Rosenfelt has an endless source of material to draw from. He and his wife Debbie have devoted their lives to rescuing and finding homes for dogs, often dogs that are older and difficult to adopt. So 207's Peggy Kaiser stopped by their home with our photographer Devin Crawford, and they found that life is about as entertaining as any fiction.
If a dog can change the course of a person's life, then these two owe their path to a dog named Tara. Tara was Debbie Meyer's beloved golden retriever. And when David Rosenfelt and Debbie started dating about 26 years ago, they fell hard for each other. And David dubbed Tara the best dog in the history of the world. David liked dogs, but Debbie was a self-described dog lunatic. Their love for each other and for Tara took off from there.
Well, when Tara died, I could not get another dog, and it was turning me into a not very nice person. So a friend said, why don't you go to the LA County Animal Shelter and you can volunteer. What she didn't tell me was that dogs don't always find a home. So that's how the rescue, and David volunteered with me, and that's how the rescue started.
Together, in honor of Tara, they started the Tara Foundation, rescuing dogs, hundreds of them, generally dogs that no one else would likely want to take home. That meant senior dogs, dogs with health issues, dogs with separation anxiety. Like Caped Crusaders, they would appear at shelters in California, saving as many dogs as they could from certain death. There seemed to be no end to their willingness to find room in their hearts for just one more dog.
So we had a rescue foundation in California, and we rescued 4,000 dogs. But if we rescued a dog that was old or blind or sick, nobody'd want it. And we're not going to leave it in a cage, right? I mean, that's why we got it out of a cage. Yeah. So they came home with us. So that's what started it.
It meant rescuing dogs that were hard to rehome. If they could not place them in new forever homes, lots of dogs ended up at home with David and Debbie.
We would go into shelters in California, and she would pick out dogs. Now, when you go in, these shelters are horrible, right? So there's 200 dogs that need saving, and we were able to get we always had 25 for adoption. So if we adopted 10 in a weekend, we get 10. But she goes to a shelter like she's at Neiman Marcus, right? I mean, I'll take this one, I'll take this one. You know, I mean, she's like, she can't go to shelters. It's a disaster.
6 years ago, they moved their pack to Mid-Coast, Maine, a cross-country expedition with 25 dogs in 3 RVs, delightfully chronicled in Dog Tripping. Now home is a 10-acre slice of dog heaven. 3 fenced-in acres, plenty of space, and a dog door that allows them free rein.
They go through a doggy door that's like the Lincoln Tunnel, and they go out to this area.
They do less rehoming of dogs these days because the rescues and shelters in Maine do such a good job. Their pack, at the moment anyway, consists of 20 dogs, each with a story of abuse or neglect. Each, now, having landed in a place where they will live out their days being loved and cared for and safe. New dogs, like Truman the Boxer, who arrived about 4 weeks ago, settle into the pack with little disruption. They find their spot, they find a pal, and let's face it, when you've already got 20 dogs, what's one more?
It's actually very rewarding, you know, to take a dog out of a situation, a terrible situation, and have it safe and happy and loved. This dog is one of the 3 dogs from California, and he was abandoned in a vet's office, our vet's office. People left him and never came back. He was 3 years old or even less. And I went to pet him in the back, and he urinated all over himself just from me petting him. That's how scared he was. And now look at him. I mean, he's just, you know.
At night, it's the best with them, the absolute best. You have a book, you have a winter night, you have all these warm, loving creatures with you. It is just so comforting.
I have a slightly different perspective on that. It's a fiasco every night.
Many of us have a dog or 2, maybe 3, but after spending some time with these 2, it didn't seem the least bit unusual to be surrounded by 20 dogs. These two could not imagine life any other way.
I'm not sure normal is the word I would use.
It's been how many years?
It's been a long, 23 years.
Yeah, so I don't.
And we were in California, we never had less than 30. And we had 42 at one point. But we think over 40 is eccentric, so we try and avoid that.
You can imagine when two strangers with a tripod and a big TV camera show up, we would get quite the reception. But all in all, the dogs settled down quickly and let us get to work. Much of our interview, however, went like this when I asked what a typical day was like at their house.
It's not atypical at all. We get up, we feed 20 dogs.
I get up at 5.
Yeah.
The day starts with Murphy and Aggie getting in the bed. I wake up at 5.
Okay, right now the Rosenfelts have 15 dogs at home, and they wouldn't have it any other way. Their most recent addition is Rosie, who just joined the pack last week. We'll have more information on David Rosenfelt in the 207 section of our website. Rosie is sweet. We'll be right back.